You know they hurt you. You know the relationship is draining you. You know deep down that staying is destroying your peace. So why is it still so hard to leave? Why do people stay with someone who lies to them, controls them, breaks them again and again? From the outside, it looks simple. People say, just walk away. But if it were that easy, millions of people wouldn't feel trapped in toxic relationships. Because the truth is this: toxic relationships are not built on love alone. They are built on a powerful psychological trap. And once you fall into that trap, leaving feels almost impossible. Let's start with the first reason: the cycle. Toxic relationships rarely begin with pain. They begin with intensity. At the beginning, everything feels magical. You receive constant attention, deep conversations, and big promises. You feel chosen, special, and important. This phase is often called love bombing. The person floods your world with affection and attention until you become emotionally attached. And once that attachment is strong, the cycle begins. First comes tension. Small arguments, passive aggression, and cold silence. You start walking on eggshells, trying to keep the peace. Then comes the explosion. The insults, the blame, the emotional attack, and sometimes even worse. In that moment, you feel shock, fear, and confusion. But just when you think the relationship is over, something strange happens. They apologize, they promise to change, they act loving again. This is the honeymoon phase, and this phase is the most dangerous part of the entire cycle because it gives you hope. Hope that the person you fell in love with is still there. Hope that the relationship can go back to the way it was in the beginning. So you forgive, you stay, and the cycle repeats. Tension, explosion, apology, calm. Again and again. But the damage slowly grows. Your confidence weakens. Your identity fades, and your mind becomes trapped inside the pattern. But the cycle is only part of the trap. Your brain chemistry is also involved. Every time the relationship shifts from pain to affection, your brain releases a powerful chemical called dopamine. Dopamine is the same chemical involved in addiction. It is the chemical that makes people crave drugs, gambling, and risky behavior. In toxic relationships, affection becomes unpredictable. Some days they ignore you. Some days they hurt you. But sometimes they suddenly become loving again. And that unpredictability makes the reward even stronger. Your brain becomes addicted to the relief, the moment when the tension finally disappears, the moment when they act like the person you first met. Your brain starts chasing that moment. And just like any addiction, the craving keeps pulling you back. But addiction is not the only reason. Your mind also begins to protect the relationship because accepting the truth would hurt too much. This is where your brain creates something called cognitive conflict. Part of you knows the relationship is unhealthy, but another part of you still believes in the version of them you fell in love with. To reduce this conflict, your mind begins to create excuses. They're just stressed. They didn't mean it. They will change if I support them. You begin defending the person who is hurting you, not because you are weak, but because your mind is trying to protect the emotional investment you already made. And that investment can be huge. Years of memories, shared plans, time, energy, and sacrifice. Your brain starts telling you something dangerous. You have already given so much. You cannot quit now. This is called the sunk cost trap. The more time you spend in the relationship, the harder it becomes to walk away, because leaving would mean admitting something painful, that the person you trusted was never who you thought they were. So your mind keeps trying to fix the relationship instead of leaving it. Toxic partners often use manipulation to keep control. One common tactic is gaslighting. They twist the story, deny what happened, and make you question your own memory and feelings. Slowly, you stop trusting yourself. And when you don't trust your own mind, leaving feels terrifying. Another tactic is isolation. They distance you from friends and family until they become the only person left in your world. And when someone becomes your only emotional connection, leaving feels like stepping into complete loneliness. Fear also keeps many people trapped. Sometimes leaving a toxic relationship can bring anger, threats, or danger. So people stay longer than they want to. not because they don't see the truth, but because they are trying to survive. But here is the truth. Staying in a toxic relationship slowly erases who you are. Your confidence fades, your dreams shrink, you begin to lose your identity. Leaving is where rebuilding begins. First awareness, then questioning, then preparation, and finally the hardest step, action. The moment you choose yourself. Healing takes time, discipline, and distance. But it begins with one decision, that your peace, your future, and your life are worth protecting. The goal is not just to leave the relationship. The goal is to become someone so strong and aware that the old version of you becomes unrecognizable. If this message spoke to you, subscribe for more videos about psychology, emotional strength, and personal growth. And in the comments, answer this honestly. What is one red flag you will never ignore again?